Welcome back to Chessometrics. In this video I would like to show you a fascinating endgame that I've recently played at the Grenke Open, where actually it was kind of a study-like and fascinating endgame where there were a lot of ups and downs, twists and turns, and also quite a good technique from both sides for a long time. So let's have a look at this game, and I hope you will enjoy the beauty of this endgame. Okay, so in this position we have the imbalanced rook and pawn against two knights, but very important with two rooks still on the board, and black should be better here as long as he keeps the rooks. It's a very important endgame theme. When you have two pieces against rook, you should at least keep one rook so that you could later maybe create more weaknesses. And also because the rooks here from white side have the same function and black still has two functions. So my opponent played the move rook c7, which is a very instructive mistake. I've analyzed many positions from Carsten Müller, all his DVDs, and he's always saying these principles, teaching these things to people. And yeah, this was a very surprising move to me, because I felt, okay, now I'm back in the game and I can play for a win. I thought also that I'm already a bit better. It's equal probably after the trade, after I get my rook out. Maybe he was objectively still better before, but now when I got my rook out, I felt that it should be at least equal, but I can press because my rook has weaknesses to attack, and the knights are very bad on two flanks. They can maneuver very slowly only, and then I could very directly attack weaknesses and create some holes in his position. So after king b4, I think here is a first moment where I should really play precise, because he's quite active. And I chose to play the move g4, threatening g5, winning the d-pawn. So he has to either play h6 or g5. And in any case, a very nice solution is just to play h4. If he were to trade, then I will get this pawn and I have two connected passes afterwards, which gives me good winning chances. So he plays h6, I trade, and now it's a very important moment, as you can see, as I highlighted with the arrows, that he has the weaknesses that I can attack. Whenever he takes on b3, I have rook b1 check and get my rook active, and his king will be cut on a4. And now it's really time to understand what is the priority. So is the priority to activate the king, to create the weaknesses, create a pass pawn, or to get the rook active? And I've understood for myself, maybe it's incorrect, but I strongly believe in this approach in this position. I should firstly bring my king to the center, because his king is also active. Once I've done that, now, with the tempo actually, giving up the pawn in the process, but getting the king active. And now, for me, it was the time to create a passer on my own. f4, very nice move. Now g5, of course. And this pawn is extremely dangerous, and my opponent in the analysis told me that he was always thinking he could play for a win, but after the move rook c7 at the beginning of this exercise, of this example, I felt that I was always in control, and I had probably the better understanding how to approach this position, not on how to evaluate, but how to approach. And I think he was trapped in the wrong mindset, that he could play for a win. And after some moves, we can see, now I activate my rook. It's a very nice way. Now I get behind his pass pawn, and my pass pawn is extremely dangerous. And my feeling now was that I was winning. King e6, very nicely dominating both knights. No knight can come back and stop the g-pawn. So after his next move, king c3, this is actually now the solution of our Instagram post. And maybe for all new viewers, you can stop the video and think for a bit what you would do here with white. And see, yeah, if there's a win or not. And I came to the conclusion that probably rook takes b3 is winning, because my g-pawn is unstoppable. But I felt, okay, I've learned from the Retsky books that you should not rush, do not rush, you should play prophylactically. So I thought I will also win with rook b5. I can take the pawn later and promote, so that he doesn't have some miracle draw, maybe, if there's some study-like thing. And actually, very ironically, now he had a study-like move which holds the game, and he played it very fastly, very like instantly almost. Knight to a8. What a fascinating resource. Threatening the fork, and my rook cannot keep contact with this pawn. So I should trade now and make a draw. But since I was feeling that his body language changed, and he was thinking like, if I don't make a draw, maybe he will win, I tricked him and played the move rook b7. Now he was thinking, wait, did I blunder? Yeah, did he blunder? And he can promote, but no, I can bring the rook around. And here, funnily enough, he still has the same resource to make a draw, or some other moves like knight e3. But knight a8 would be more in the spirit. But here he felt, probably he still wins with king c2, but he miscalculated. Probably he calculated that he had two moves, because now I was the one to promote first and give a check. And here he resigned, because after king b2 I trade and win the piece, and the pawn is still existing. So this was quite turbulent game, quite a turbulent endgame. But I would like to go back to this very important special moment. And actually it was one of the few, maybe 2 or 3 moments in my career so far where I have almost like a study on the board. This knight a8 was study-like, but if I had taken on b3, there would have been an amazing resource for black to hold the game after g6. And the only move here is the beautiful move knight to d5, putting every piece in one row and one diagonal, sorry. And I cannot take the knight, or I can, but then he can escape with a draw, because he gets the knight in time to h6. And this king is still stopping the e-pawn. So this is amazing. And I can never approach the knight, because it always goes to the far side, or even giving a check. And then I understood, okay, like I saw knight d5, but I understood that I don't even need to take this, and I can go g7. And it's very strange. It was time travel. At the end, I saw this and decided against it, because of the rule of Dvoretsky and Kasmiller and so on, that I should not rush and play the move rook b5 here. But takes is still a draw, fascinatingly enough, because after g7 there's this move knight f4 check, and wherever my king goes he takes, and very instructively 2 knights against the queen is a theoretical table-based draw. I have to say it's insanely difficult. I've tried this now a bit, and you make mistakes every time, but it's a theoretical draw, which is very fascinating. I know that there are some fortresses with knight and bishop, and with knight and bishop and bishop and bishop, but with 2 knights I never thought that there's some hope, because probably practically it's extremely difficult, but actually it's a table-based draw. So maybe this at some point will happen in your chess games, and you could use this advice maybe. So this was very fascinating, and yeah, I hope you could take some key elements about rook against 2 pieces, and also like when to prioritize, how to get active with the king first, the rook, or to create a pass pawn, and then this very nice study-like endgame finishing or it could have finished in this endgame queen against 2 knights, which is actually a table-based draw, and probably a lot of you will benefit from this, and you probably have learned something new. Well, I hope you enjoyed the content. Please don't forget to follow us and leave some comments below, and we see you in the next videos. Bye bye.